Welcome back to Talking with Our Traders, a Caesars Sportsbook original series. The podcast that takes you inside the mind of the sportsbook. Each week we'll be breaking down the biggest bets, the sharpest moves, and the stories behind the lines with the people who make them. We're coming to you live from the beautiful Montecristo Cigar Bar here at Caesars Palace. I'm your host, Cindi Edwards, and with me today and all season long are two of the sharpest minds in the game, Craig Mucklow, VP of Trading here at Caesars Sportsbook.
Hello there.
Hi, Craig. And Joey Fiesel, head of football here at Caesars.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, guys. Does it feel good to be back?
It's been a while.
Yeah, we really outkicked our coverage here at the
I
beautiful
know.
Caesars Palace. So.
It's gorgeous. Well, I can't think of a better place to kick off the season. So let's get into it. Let's start with college football because it feels like the season has more questions than ever. So let's start big picture. Joey, what are the biggest storylines heading into this season?
Well, we're in year 2 of the 12-team college football playoff. We have new straight seeding this year. I know that was a big thing last year. Why does Boise State get a home game? That's not going to be the case this year. Top 4 teams will be in the final rankings. We'll get those buys. So that's going to be a big change this year. And we got a team that has a lot of hype going in. That's number 1, Texas. Are they the real deal? Are they not? We have Arch Manning come in. He has the bloodline, but can they perform on the field? And then really just everything that we've been dealing with the last couple of years, and that's the transfer portal. We have a lot of teams that had a lot of kind of bringing in. We saw it work for Ohio State last year, bringing in all those transfers, and it really turned into a national championship. So we have a lot of teams, Oklahoma, Penn State, Georgia, Miami, LSU, Texas Tech, among the notable, really big transfer portal stuff. And that's going to, like you said, have some questions. And there might be some really good teams, some really bad teams. We don't know. It's a lot of parity going in this year.
Yeah, I had a few as well. Obviously, Arch Manning hype.
Of course.
Jordan Hudson's first game as head coach for North Carolina. Coach Prime will be tested this year without the talent and also the health issues, so we'll see how good they are. And obviously the quarterback transfers are always the marquee talking point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you guys hit on all of that because we will dive deeper into this as we go. One of the biggest changes last year was the new 12-team college football playoff. Now that we're entering year 2, how do you see this affecting betting strategies, if at all?
Well, now seeding matters more than ever. Buys are going to go to the committee's top 4. So handicapping your path to the bye, which is really going to give you the advantage, that's really going to give you the edge for the futures.
Yeah, and you could see from last year where outside of Notre Dame beating Georgia, all the dogs won straight up because from the quarterfinals onwards because the seeding was wrong, and they will fix it. But yeah, I mean, second year, but I mean, you've had a busy week this week, haven't you?
Yeah, I got Peter Luger tonight, got Nobu tomorrow, college football on Saturday. It's
wow, things are filling.
It's a hard life. Yeah. It's a hard life. Do you think top seeds struggle again due to the extended buys before playoff games?
So they struggled last year on the scoreboard, but for context, they were all dogs going into that game. And again, the seeding was wrong. So it's hard to treat that going to be the same way because now it'll be the top 4 teams getting the bye, so probably not this year as much. Yeah,
the favorites went 6-1 straight up in the quarterfinals onwards. It was no surprise to us that the better team was the lower seed outside of Notre Dame and Georgia. Again, you'll get to the end of the year, you'll see the buys, you'll see the matchups, the numbers will be correct, and we'll just move on the action thereafter.
Right. And you can't talk college football without the conference wars. Which conference looks strongest heading into the season, Big Ten or SEC?
I say the SEC slightly leaning
just a little
overall.
Bit. A hair.
The thing with the Big Ten is you just have the top guys and then you have everybody else, where SEC is more blended. But the Big Ten has won the last 2, so there could be an argument either way.
I've always said on this podcast that the Big Ten's the better of the conferences. I'll stick with the Big Ten. They've got the defending champs. They've got the number 2 on the rankings this year, and Penn State as well. Michigan will be improved. The only thing that SEC are catching up on this year is I think their quarterback level has got better this year with some of the transfers. So you need marquee quarterback play in college. But the problem is the SEC beat up on each other all the time. So I'll stick with the Big Ten.
All right. We talked transfer portal in this big question mark coming into the season. Which teams saw their odds move the most because of the transfer portal?
We saw Oklahoma. They have a brutal schedule, but a lot of skill ads, a lot of defensive ads. Penn State, kind of an offensive retool this year. You got Georgia, Miami, LSU, and Texas Tech spent quite a bit of money on their team, and that bumped them all the way up, I think, a win total from when we opened. So they're getting a lot of action at the over. There's a lot of hype going in. Now, will that translate to wins? It doesn't always, but we saw with Ohio State last year, they really made the big push for the transfer portal, and it worked out in the end where they just absolutely dominated in the college football playoff.
Yeah, you don't win a title on paper. You wait until everybody started playing, and then you'll see some significant odds moves. Then we'll let it play out.
Yeah. All right. When you're looking at the season as a bettor, what are your favorite college markets right now?
I'm going to praise the guy, unfortunately. Joey and the team have put together a tremendous product this year. How the season wins looks, the awards markets. They've got some new features coming up with head-to-head markets, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Just the way it looks on the app. So it's not just the trading team that have put together a good effort this year. The product team and everybody else behind the scenes as well. So, Joey, well done to you and the team.
Yeah, as a bettor, what I like to go into the season, I like spreads. I'm pretty basic, but there's a lot of those touchdown scores that are really coming up, and the SGPs really build up, and those are just, you can really find a good price out there. But generally, I like to beat the hardest mark, and that's spreads. But that's just me.
I like it. Okay, Arch Manning has been hyped as the guy, but is he really a lock for Heisman, or are there other contenders bettors should be keeping an eye on? It feels illegal to say lock for the Heisman in week 0, but
we get our fingers burnt early on this.
The way betting's coming in, it feels like he's a lock. He's
Okay.
definitely by far and away the most popular bet on the Heisman market, but certainly not a lock. And we really haven't seen him. He kind of is one of those players that has a really high ceiling. He has the potential to be really great, or he could have a really low floor, and it depends what you're going to get. There's a couple other great quarterbacks. Cade Klubnik for Clemson, Garrett Nussmeier for LSU, John Mateer for Oklahoma is fun, Lenore Sellers for South Carolina is fun, and then even Jeremiah Love for Notre Dame. He might see some eyeballs this year as a running back. So yeah, there's a lot of good players out there. I don't think Arch Manning's a lock.
No, he's not. Injuries can stop that as well straight away, but the Manning family have 5 NFL MVP awards, 4 Super Bowl titles, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 0 Heisman trophies.
Ooh.
And that is some pretty good, rich blood in quarterback play and no Heismans. I do like Carson Beck, Miami, 18-1. I'll always take a shot against a favorite. And Mateer at 20s for Oklahoma, I think was a good transfer. Texas were a dog week 1 at Ohio State. So if they lose that, the odds are probably going to push out anyway. So there's no need going in on the 5-1 favorite this early in the season when we've seen times when Jaden Daniels made that run at the end of the year.
Oh, certainly.
They come from nowhere. So sit tight. Don't bet a favorite too early.
All right. Looking a little further ahead, which quarterbacks are rising in the 2026 NFL draft conversation? And are there names outside of Arch Manning we should be watching now?
Yeah, I think Cade Klubnik for Clemson. He's poised, getting in his later years and really going to show out to be that kind of NFL format. Garrett Nussmeier, his dad's the OC of the New Orleans Saints. But also Arch Manning's grandpa played for New Orleans. Who knows with that? One of those two. Drew Aller has some upside. He's not the greatest passer, but certainly going to be looked at for the draft. John Mateer, like we talked about earlier, he has the opportunity. It's going to be a deep quarterback class, especially way more than we saw last year with just Cam Ward and then Shedeur stuff that didn't pan out. But
yeah, I agree with Joey. This year's quarterback class will be stacked, so there won't be necessarily as much tanking in the NFL as you probably would expect. I mean, the tank for Tua was the last big one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and he went 5th. But yeah, the quarterback class is stacked, but you've got to see how it plays out as well.
Right. All right, next we have to talk about the one and only Bill Belichick, and even more, Bill Belichick in college football. His first year at North Carolina is going to be a fascinating one to watch, no matter how it goes. How do you see that moving, shaping betting lines and expectations?
Well, there was very high expectations going into the season. We saw that game that's going to be the Monday night college game, one of our biggest handle games of the year. That opened up North Carolina favorite, 1.5, 2-point favorites. Now it's the other side. We're seeing TCU already at 3.5. So the market's already decided that Bill's not going to be that great. Is that going to be the case? We don't know. He's another case where it's kind of the high ceiling, low floor. Hasn't really coached college at a big level like this. We know he wants to go back to the NFL to get that record, but how is it going to impact? It's very up and down. It could be high, it could be low.
Yeah, I agree. It feels a lot like the Deion Sanders going to Colorado.
Yeah.
A lot of fanfare, a lot of hoopla, but the win total reflects that the team's not going to be great. And he's 73 years old. He wants the all-time coaching record for the NFL, so I can see this being a one and done.
All right. Here's a quirky stat. The number 2 team in the AP preseason poll has gone on to win the national title in each of the last 2 seasons. This year, that's Penn State. Could they keep this trend alive?
It's an interesting pattern, but history is not destiny. Yeah, well, we've seen the last time this happened before that was in 2016, so it's not really going to be the case. Penn State, their biggest flaw is they can't win big games. They won some big games in the playoffs last year, but I'm not buying it. There's a lot of great talented teams, and I'm not sure Penn State's going to be able to get it done. They'll be in the playoff, that's for sure. They have a really easy path. But.
Yeah, they'll be in the playoff. 2 things for me. Everybody says Franklin has never won the big one. Well, winning the big one, not many coaches do anyway. So it's when you win the big one, you've won the big one. End of. Also, one of the traders on the floor, he said, wait for them to lose one of their games that they should win. Mm-hmm. Then the price goes out, then it becomes value. So if you are betting futures on college football, wait until one of the shocks, one of the upsets. I mean, Notre Dame got beat as a 28.5 point favorite last year. A good opportunity because the market always overreacts to these teams, and that then becomes value on the futures.
All right, heard it here first. That's good advice. Okay, next we have to talk Colorado. Coach Prime is still a headline machine, but Shedeur and Travis Hunter are gone. Their win total is set at 5.5. Are bettors expecting another big season, or are they selling without the stars?
I think it's pretty 50-50. We certainly haven't seen the Colorado effect like we saw a couple years ago. And that is true without Shedeur, without Travis Hunter. It's going to make an impact. They bring in a transfer, a good quarterback, Kaden Salter. We're going to see how that translates, but it's been a kind of rough offseason for Deion, Coach Prime. So we're going to really see kind of how they come out fighting, but they've certainly proved us wrong in the past. So I don't want to doubt them.
That's true.
I'll never doubt Coach Prime because I grew up watching him as a player. But I mean, the health issues, losing 2 superstar players, it's going to be a challenge. And now they're not as front and center and front page news as what they were the last 2 years.
Right.
I've got their win total wrong back-to-back years. I'm going under again this year, so probably going to fly over.
All right. Let's go back to Heisman futures. Give me your top picks for Heisman.
I like Mateer.
Okay.
I think 20s is value for Mateer, and 18's on back.
The only problem with Oklahoma is they have a really tough schedule. Yeah. But I think if they show and they outperform, he's certainly going to be in the mix because he proved that he could beat that schedule out. Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State wide receiver, arguably one of the best players in this draft class going in. Lenore Sellers for South Carolina is an interesting one. And then, like I said earlier, Jeremiah Love for Notre Dame. That might be their key is the running game, and they're also going to be probably a playoff team. So if these quarterbacks kind of go back and forth, he might be able to sneak through and just show that he is the big player. So,
Joe, we took the whole field in the Heisman Trophy race.
I did.
I'll just settle for 2. Carson Beck going to Miami, he'll fit into that offense, no problem.
Yeah.
And I do like Mateer in Oklahoma. Even though if they have a tough schedule, if you're playing from behind and you're putting up numbers, as we saw with Jaden Daniels, if you're padding your stats, that goes well with Heisman voters. So I think that, and I can't take a 5-1 shot to start the season.
No.
All right. Which teams are best poised to make the college football playoff?
Texas, Ohio State, of course. They're going to be the most talent. They're going to play each other week 1, but they're still going to be able to kind of prove and win a lot of games down the stretch. Penn State, again, easy schedule. Should line them up for the playoffs. I think those are like the 3 locks. Yeah.
I like Oklahoma as a big price, like plus 480, something like that.
Yeah, plus 40.
I mean, if Miami and Oklahoma are in Heisman Trophy contention, that means they're in playoff contention as well. And they're both odds against.
Well, who are your sleeper teams or long shots that are worth a look?
I don't bet short prices, so those are my long shots straight away.
I think Missouri at 6-1 is an interesting
Ooh.
one. Another one where you're in the SEC, they're kind of in that mid range where it's really going to be SEC and Big Ten focus, like it always is. So if they have their way to sneak into that little top 4 of the SEC, they're there. And then I have Oklahoma and South Carolina. South Carolina another with sellers looking at the quarterback position. Are they going to be able to push over their win total, get to that 9-win probably sweet spot? That's a possibility. So those, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Missouri.
All right, I like it. Let's wrap our college football segment with your favorite college football week 0 game, and give me your lock.
I know what Joey's is straight away. Do you want me to tell you before Joey does?
Yeah, go ahead.
Joey's lock is UNLV money line minus 4,000.
Is he right?
No.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I went with Hawaii. And the reason really for that is kind of really just fading Stanford. They might be the worst Power 4 team out there. And you got to travel to the Big Island. So not only are you dealing with a coach getting fired, they have interim coach Frank Reich, which I really didn't like him in the NFL. So that's probably adding to it as well. But this Hawaii team is always going to come out firing. They're going to come out strong, and they want to win for the boys at home on the Big Island. So give me Hawaii minus 2.5.
That's an odd start time for a Hawaii game.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah. My favorite game, I'm going back to Dublin. I don't want to, but because it feels like I was only there yesterday. I think it's a great game for the Irish public to see, and the fans will travel. And it's a beautiful stadium. My favorite bet, I'm going Hawaii, but I'm going first half under.
All right.
Yeah.
Windy.
So Craig hasn't changed in
Craig.
season 3. He's still going with the unders.
The more things change, the more things stay the same.
Yeah, that's a good saying. All right, let's switch gears. Let's get into NFL. First question for you guys. Outside of injuries, does preseason performance actually move betting lines, or is it just more noise than signal?
Generally more noise. It's going to have minimal correlation to how the team is going to perform. And you've seen there could be some opportunities for how the Bengals are this year. Like in years prior, they have the slow starts, and I think we'll get into this later. They chose, hey, we're going to go out and play our starters week 1 and 2 of the preseason and kind of be ready for that start of the season, where usually everybody goes the McVay route where it's like no starters see the field at all. So for the most part, minimal correlation. You might see some, we saw maybe the Colts adjust slightly to which quarterback they're going to end up playing. But for the most part, yeah, it's not really correlated.
By the way, that's a good strategy for the Bengals.
It's the
They
only one I
needed to
had.
do that, yeah.
They do. I mean, 1-7 the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks, the last 4 years, it's
Disgusting.
terrible. And you can't spot that division 2-game leads
Right.
out the gate. So yeah, the Bengals was flat out the one for me that made any changes, and it also made me rethink about their Super Bowl odds and where I stand with those. But also anything with a quarterback battle, that would be the only difference, and obviously injuries. But other than that, preseasons, we'll be glad when it's finished with.
Yes.
Right. All right, well, let's start where we left off. Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Who's the biggest threat to stop a repeat for the Eagles?
I think the Bills and the Ravens are most likely to represent the AFC. Both pretty good defenses, both pretty good quarterbacks. They I think have a good chance of being the Super Bowl champion. On the NFC side, we see the Niners. Niners are going to have a simple schedule, and they kind of are taking that path of what the Eagles were last year, where they really underperformed the year before, and they got a good schedule. They took advantage of that, and it really came prevalent in playoff time. Rams, if Stafford back is okay, we don't know at this point.
Yeah.
McVay lies all the time. Or the Commanders, do they have the ability to overcome and not regress like we saw the Texans? So I think those are the
Right.
teams that are kind of in the hunt.
I had 3 teams. The Eagles themselves,
Oh,
injuries, and Jaden Daniels. The Eagles have got the 4th toughest schedule this year. They've got 4 guaranteed wins, 2 against the Giants, 2 against the Cowboys, but then they've got a revenge game in Kansas City week 2. They're at the Packers, got the Lions, at the Chargers, then they close out at Washington, Buffalo, Washington. All their tough games on the road. So only 2 of those are at the link. Washington got slightly older. They're 27 and a half years old on their roster. So what they've done is they've got some experience of people that have been there, done that, and understand it. And the Eagles are now the second youngest team at 25 and a half years. So they've kind of got younger, less experience. But it does concern me that there might be a drop-off, a sophomore slump with Jaden Daniels because of how high he set the bar last year.
Right.
But also, you know full well Washington are waiting for Philadelphia because of the 55-20 feet drubbing in the championship game. So, yeah, injuries is always there. You won a title, so you've spent all summer partying. How motivated are you?
Right. We will see. Let's talk MVP market. Who's leading the MVP market right now?
So we got Lamar Jackson at plus 550.
I like that.
Clear favorite in my eyes. You have Josh Allen behind that. He won it last year, so he's going to have to do even more extra to win it because voters tend not to like to vote for the same people year after year.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes in the mix, of course, and then Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels to round out the top 5.
In wagers, it's Joe Burrow at plus 600. He's almost 2-1 in ticket count against Jaden Daniels at plus 900. Liability-wise, Justin Fields, Aston Gentry, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, and Travis Hunter. Of the realistic contenders, because I can't see any of those winning, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, and Joe Burrow.
All right. Who are your favorites?
The Bengals scare me. I think Burrow gets it done this year.
Yeah.
The only thing is with Burrow, and I think this is like that MVP almost always goes to who's going to be on the best team, best player on the best team.
Right.
If the Bengals defense doesn't fix itself,
He's got an
maybe
uphill
the
battle.
offensive player of the year. Maybe a quarterback can win that. If he's scoring 100 points, but they're losing 105 to 100, then that might hurt Burrow.
He looks phenomenal.
Well, you say that regardless if he's playing or not.
Yeah, phenomenal how.
Yeah, phenomenal how.
In all aspects.
Well, unfortunately for you, I got to stand like 1 foot away from him in New Orleans.
I know.
The market's correct, though. Lamar Jackson is the rightful favorite.
Do we? Yeah. And we actually saw Derrick Henry come out and say Lamar should have won last year.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
Probably should have.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What about offensive rookie of the year? Other than maybe Joe Burrow.
Yeah, well, he's not a rookie anymore. Ashton Gentry is the leader at 3-1. Then you have Cam Ward, the big quarterback on the board. Omari Hampton at 9-1. Travis Hunter 10-1. Shadur Sanders at 18-1. It's kind of, he's fourth in the depth chart, but driving a lot of action. And who knows what the Browns are going to do at quarterback. So
You should be ashamed of yourself with that price. It's a 2-horse race. Ashton Gentry and Cam Ward.
Yeah. Could see that. What about defensive rookie of the year?
1-horse race, isn't it?
yeah, Abdul Carter plus 250. Going to be the best edge out there. If Travis Hunter 10-1. We'll see how much actual defense he plays. In my opinion, he should play cornerback more than he should play wide receiver, but I'm not Liam Cohen, so I'm not making that decision. Jalen Walker plus 750, Michael Williams at 10-1, and Jahad Campbell at 14-1.
I think they should give it to Abdul Carter now after his tweet about the Jets last week. I mean, if you're already talking trash about your crosstown rival, that wins it for me out the gate.
Are those who are some of your favorites?
It's the obvious value with Gentry and Abdul Carter, I'm afraid.
I like Ted McMillan, wide receiver for Carolina. I think Carolina is primed to take a step. I know I said that last year, and maybe I'll say it every year until they actually do. But I really liked him at wide receiver in college, and I think he's going to be their true number one, and I think he can make some splashes this year.
All right, here's a fun one. Which team do you think is most likely to outperform its win total? Which is funny asking you guys since you set those.
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to go lower teams, right? It's going to be easier to get a lower win. So I'm going to go Panthers over 6.5.
Yeah.
And also the Giants over 5.5. 6 wins doesn't seem out of the question, and they do have a very nasty defensive front, and that obviously helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's
right.
my 2 picks.
Yeah, I almost looked at DeBoll for Coach of the Year, given that. I have Green Bay winning 12 games on my numbers, and the market, we've got 9.5 minus 120 over. So I like Green Bay, but I'll give you one that'll underperform as well. How about that?
Yeah.
The Dolphins, to your happiness, will stink this year. Under 7.5 wins.
Yeah. They look like they're
I'm backing you there.
Yes, I knew you would.
Any value plays for Coach of the Year? You mentioned it already, Craig. So let's start with you.
I mean, if the Bengals fix their defense, they're not spotting an 0-2 start. I think Zach Taylor at 25-1 is a huge price. It's a tough division, we know that. Ben Johnson's the rightful favorite at Chicago because I think the Bears will be very, very good this year. A lot better than what they have been for years. I almost thought they were value for the division.
Right.
They'll give the Packers a run, that's for sure. And my favorite one, Mike Tomlin, only because he deserves it if he gets through this season.
Yeah, he's got his hands full, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he's got his hands full. 25 to 1.
does.
He deserves that.
Yeah, I got two of them. I got Jim Harbaugh, 16-1. I think if he turns out to be the AFC West champ and you take out the Chiefs,
Yeah.
that's going to be a big plus side. And he just has been known to elevate the rosters and really play well. So if they're a competitor at the end of the year, I think Jim Harbaugh wins. And then Canales, same thing with the Panthers. If they're able to take out Baker Mayfield and be on top of that NFC South, which is definitely doable, I think then he'll get a look as well.
Are you doing to Carolina what you did to CMC last year?
Probably.
Who's the best quarterback in the league right now?
It's not even debatable.
Not debatable.
No, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
I was gonna have you guys say it in 3, 2, 1, but I agree with you there completely. Which sophomore quarterback is primed for the biggest leap in year 2?
Again, I think this is not debatable.
Now Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
I think,
my
yeah,
God.
just that we've seen Ben Johnson and how much he elevated the Lions offense in the past couple of years. And Caleb had a really bad year, so he's got to improve slightly. It can't get much worse.
All right, how do we feel about Drake May, Bo Nix?
Are you asking for the slumps now?
You can't really.
It's hard.
Can't really go down.
I mean, if you're asking for a slump, Drake May and Bo Nix are the obvious two. Unfair to say this because he set the bar so high last year, but it's going to be tough for Jaden Daniels to repeat what he did last year
Right.
and some of the heroics. So do you call it a sophomore slump if he becomes bang average or above average? It probably is compared to the first year that he had.
Yeah.
But the obvious two are Bo Nix and Drake May to me.
And they're both on running teams.
Yes.
So, I mean, that could elevate them because if the teams are that worried about trying to stop the run, then there might be some people open. But, yeah, those are the two. Obviously, Jaden Daniels because the bar's so high.
Right.
That's kind of unfair.
All right. Can Saquon Barkley repeat his dominance with the Eagles this year?
It's a mixed bag. Father
50-50?
Time is, undefeated overall. But he's still going to be the centerpiece of this Phillies offense. He's still going to be very important. But he might regress. I mean, he had such a great year. Again, just like Jaden Daniels had such a great year. Like, he probably goes down a little bit. He has to regress a little bit likely. And that with Father Time, yeah, it's very unsustainable.
No.
No.
He played with, obviously he's got Father Time.
Yeah.
He played with that huge chip on his shoulder last year that's now since been replaced with a massive Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
I just think maybe the motivation's not there as much. So, yeah.
He's proved what he needed to prove. Maybe
he's got a Super Bowl ring,
relaxing.
so he
Yeah.
can take it easy now.
All right. Will the AFC West finally see a new division champion after the Chiefs lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl? And they did not look good.
God, we can only hope. No, I think it's going to be a very challenging division this year with Denver and the Chargers and even the Raiders looking like they might be better than obviously what they were last year.
Right.
But yeah, the Chiefs are no longer a lock. It's wider open. They're still going to be the favorite. But yeah, I think Denver and Chargers have a good chance.
How are bettors reacting? Because I know Chiefs are normally an early favorite because you get all of that action. Are they?
I think we're at the tail end of that.
Okay.
Like it's not like we used to be the Patriots every year. They'd be
Right.
just hammering, and it'd
Yeah.
be a lock. It's now like the Bills. They're hammering the Bills for the AFC East, and that's obviously how big of a favorite are. But it's not the same with the Chiefs as it been in years past.
Gotcha.
Well, the Chiefs are minus 115 to win the division, which suggests they're not a lock this year.
Right.
And maybe there is a change. I don't think the Raiders and Denver are there yet. I'm both the Harbaugh brothers fanboy. I think they're both awesome coaches. I just think the Chiefs are just that one more step ahead of them for one more year. I think maybe the question's next year.
Okay.
Definitely not this year.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of the Chiefs, how are we expecting Travis Kelce to do this season? Do we think this is a last dance? He wasn't looking amazing last season, or do we think he's going to come out looking a little better? He looks a little bit more in shape.
He's a little bit more in shape, but again, Father Time is undefeated, and it's going to be hard for him. I don't see this being a breakout year for Travis Kelce. But as they go into this season, there's going to be cap constraints next year. This might be his exit plan. and maybe hang up the cleats. But not expecting a breakout year for Travis Kelce, as it's father time's undefeated.
The life of a tight end era is over. Do you like that line?
Mic drop.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a clear correlation with performance and tight ends by age. So tight ends are at their peak between 25 and 27 years old, and you can see this consistent regression. Now, there is an uptick at 34, 35 years old, but as we saw last year, it was his worst year performing.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some of the distractions that go on, but at 35, history tells you and statistics tell you that you're past your prime. Salary cap, everything else, changing of the guard. I think this is his last year.
All
and he's
right.
earned it. Fair play. It's a Hall of Fame career.
Absolutely. Which rookies are ready to make an immediate impact in week 1?
I got 2. Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to be the Saquon of the Raiders. They're going to use him a lot. Chip Kelly loves to run the ball. That's not going to stop. And then obviously Cam Ward, going to be that starting quarterback, going to make the biggest impact, whether good or bad.
It's tougher on a quarterback, I think, because the expectations are so high, especially a number 1 drafted quarterback. For me, it's Ashton Gentry. Joey grew up watching Jim Brown, Larry Zonka, Mercury Morris. I grew up watching Walter Payton, Ricky Williams, Barry Sanders, and he reminds me a lot of Ricky Williams. I think he'll be great. I thought 69.5 yards, first game 1. I felt that was a bit low. I kind of like that over. They'll use him. My only concern is they'll overuse him.
Right.
And then before the team actually gets better around him in the next year or two, it starts racking up yardage on their mileage on the body.
Yeah. Good point. All right, here's a fun one. Will Shedeur Sanders take a snap this season?
He won't be taking it initially. We know that.
Right.
He's 4th on the Browns depth chart behind Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel. But he's earned more practice reps as of that first preseason game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, the Browns, not really high expectations that they're going to do well. I think Craig has his own conspiracy about Shedeur, so we'll see.
I do.
Let's hear it.
I think he takes a snap, but for a different team.
Ooh. Do you have any?
If Arch Manning comes out as a Manning and looks like Peyton and Eli and his grandfather, and then the tank for Arch becomes, and it's quite possible, Cleveland's not a great team, it's quite possible Cleveland can get the number 1 pick again. Well, you took 2 quarterbacks this year. You've got to take Arch Manning if he is that good.
Yeah.
You can't hold 4 quarterbacks on the roster. They're costly. So I think eventually either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur gets traded.
Wow. We shall see. Let's go back to the Bengals. Can the Bengals get back to the playoffs now that they're changing strategies in the early preseason?
Yeah, they're currently minus 140, so expecting about 58% implied probability for that. The question really just relies on the defense. Offensively, we know they're going to be lights out. They were last year. We saw in the preseason they went up and down the field. But when their defense got in the field, whoever was in also went up and down the field. So that's really going to be their Achilles heel. Can their defense improve? And now they're even talking about trading Trey Henderson. And then that's your most talented defensive guy when you already have a horrific defense. I don't know.
Well, you know who holds the chips in that contract situation.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense stinks, so you've got to sign him.
Yeah.
I think they could be 4-0 before they start playing anybody decent. So, I mean, they've got a test of 3 games. They've got Detroit, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh. We'll see how good they are, but they've got to get past this week 1 and week 2 where they just don't play at all. They're awful. But the fact that they've given preseason some seriousness this year, the Bengals do concern me. I think minus 140 is just borderline. Would I bet it? It's just slightly too short for me. And it's a really tough division. But, yeah, I think they can make the playoffs.
They must have listened to last season's podcast and took our advice.
Must have. Yeah.
What does Aaron Rodgers do for Pittsburgh? Is he going to move the needle? Is it going to be another Jets situation? What are your guys' thoughts there?
Yeah, he's certainly left a lot to be desired on the Jets, especially if we look at who Rodgers used to be.
Yeah.
Will he actually make an impact? It all depends if he's going to get along with Arthur Smith. They want to run the ball a lot. Is he going to be like, I want to pass it more? I don't think he has the power that he did on the Jets to make whatever terrible decisions they were making. But he could hold Tomlin's job in his hand too. I think that's a big part. And Mike Tomlin's been a coach for a long time, so he already got one coach fired. So who knows if he can do it again?
I think the Steelers are too well built an organization to get into the drama that comes with
Aaron Rodgers.
If I'm a 40-year-old quarterback, and I never will be a quarterback, but if I can just hand it off to a great running game all the time and only have to throw 10, 12, 13, 14 passes, that means you're winning games.
Yeah.
So, that should be the perfect scenario for him. I know that they won't stand for any of the nonsense. For it to go well, they have to start well. Once things start to go badly, then all the issues happen. So that's why I kind of like Tomlin at 25-1 just for his patience this year. But that organization just wins all the time. So every time you write
they grind it out.
And this is clearly his last year. So go out on fire.
I like it. What about the Lions? America's team last year.
Jokes.
Do they stay hot, or is regression coming?
Likely a regression.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose both your OC, who's regarded as the best offensive play caller in the past couple of years, and you lose your DC. Is Dan Campbell still going to be screaming on the sidelines going for a fourth down? Certainly. Do they have the talent? Certainly. But their schedule is going to be rough. I see a regression.
Their season wins reflects that.
Mm-hmm.
The number's 10.5.
Yeah.
You can't lose that much coaching talent and expect to replace it that quickly. And Goff's another year older, so and injuries absolutely ravaged them last year, and they still got 15 wins, something like that.
Yeah.
Can they win 11 games? Yeah, but it's still aggression from last year.
Right. Hard not to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was awesome, guys. Before we wrap, we have to talk about the Caesar Sportsbook app and what are some of your favorite new features or exciting markets that bettors can get excited for heading into the college and NFL football season.
The app has changed so much this year. All the teams behind the scenes have done such a tremendous job. I mean, there's more markets than ever. There's more themed same-game parlays, increased uptime on live wagering. We're going to release head-to-head six-pack markets on players. A better experience, better cash-out functionality. There's some new ways to wager live with pre-built quick picks and other markets. Now we're almost one wallet across all states now,
right.
which is a huge
Big.
upgrade for customers, which is monstrous. We're going to debut NFL jackpots. There's also going to be a 50 burger competition where if a team scores 50, there's rewards. So, I mean, a lot has gone on. It's it kind of feels, let's get to kickoff so we can take a breather.
Yeah.
It's, the whole team, all the teams behind the scenes, not just the trading team, have done such a great job getting this together. There's only one place to bet now, and that's on the Caesars app.
Yeah, I agree. And, one of the features I have, because there's just a million new features, but one of them is you can have the top 25 right from games. So you want to find that big game, it's so much easier to find this year.
So easy, yeah.
And hat tip to the team for really grinding it out this offseason. They worked hard.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Well, that wraps up episode 1 of Talking with Our Traders. Big shout out to Montecristo Cigar Bar here at Caesars Palace for the incredible hospitality. Craig, Joey, and I will be back weekly, diving deep into everything college football and NFL. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and follow along wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Follow us at Caesar Sportsbook on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Guys, anything you'd like to say before we end?
Have fun and bet responsibly.
That's a good way to end it. Let's end it there.
Yeah, let's end it there.
Bye.